to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Oh, welcome in. It's Thursday, May 28th. We are the Fantasy Footballers. Jason Moore, Mike, the Fantasy Hitman. I'm Andy Holloway. Deucer's Alley full of deucers.
Oh, man. Hey, deucing. So much.
Al Borland.
Deuce.
Maximum.
Oh, the deucers.
Throwing up
the
deuces.
deuce. Throwing deuces. Deuceception. Matter.
We've got a full...
That one got Josh
a
good.
full alley of producers. Producers. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Because we are professionals.
Yeah.
We got a great show for you today. This is the last episode of the show before the Ultimate Draft Kit is released in all of its glory, which is Monday, June 1st, which means this is your last chance to pre-order the Ultimate Draft Kit at a discount before June 1st. UltimateDraftKit.com for that. For those that are newer to the show or want to know how all that works, that is our draft kit with all of our tier-based rankings, sleepers, breakouts, bust values, 100-plus player profile videos, and about 50 more tools and resources, including 50,000 words of original content, player blurbs, dynasty outlook for players, and a whole lot more. And that's all available at UltimateDraftKit.com if you want to get in there.
It's got what you need.
It's got what you need. That is the best summary. It's got what you need to win at your draft. If you've already picked it up, one of the things we started doing a couple of years ago was we released our Ultimate Foot Clan membership, which is basically just one membership for the entire year. All of our draft kit, DFS pass, in-season tools and resources all together. So if you bought the UDK separately and you just want to switch to Ultimate, we give you a $1 credit on your purchase. So it goes directly towards the Ultimate membership, and you can do that at jointhefoot.com.
And it's automatic. Just be logged in, go to the page, and you'll see the discount.
And just check out for an Ultimate membership, and it'll be included in there. You'll get the discount, and you will never have to think about it again. But we're really excited. A lot of upgrades to the app, to the web, new features on the way, right? It's living, it's breathing, it's changing. We add a lot of new stuff. It's alive. It's no dated old dusty magazine. But yeah, we got some fun stuff coming this summer as well. But June 1st, the release, it'll be exciting. UDK Day on Monday. Quick question of the day for the show. Comes in from Instagram. Comes from Bonnie McMurray, which is kind of perfect for my answer to the question. But who do you think will have their draft stock rise the most by fantasy draft weekend?
Like you're in on Bonnie?
No, it's the other part. It's the Murray part. Kyler Murray is my answer. He is currently going in the late 13th round as the quarterback 21. You can believe whatever you want about Kyler Murray. Does he, I've seen things say he lost his love of the game in Arizona, which
I would too. I mean,
I've lost my love of the game in Arizona.
Many do.
I mean, I understand it. So, we've had these resurgent seasons from Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith in the past, Kevin O'Connell. We like him. Look, Kyler's going to win the job. I think it's over. You want to know why? Because I watched a press conference this morning. The same question was asked to Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy, and it was, what's it like working with the other guy?
Okay.
Kyler.
You haven't seen this, Mike?
No.
It's good stuff.
Kyler's like a professional. His answer was amazing. It's, it's weird. I'm a veteran, even though I'm only here 7 years. I try to do whatever I can. He's absorbing everything, and
just talks so glowingly.
He's a great
of JJ.
player. JJ's awesome. We're on the same. We're competitive, but we're on the same team.
We just
the same
want
goals.
Whoever's going to help us win. We just want to win.
And JJ gets up there like an incompetent, stupid child. And JJ goes, yeah, it's like being in school, and like I sit on this side of the classroom and he sits on the other side, and the coaches, they're responsible for like teaching us.
It's the coach's job.
Yeah.
It was so brutally.
Is there anything awkward? Well, no, it's like school, He sits over there, I sit over here. So like, yeah, not really.
It was like high school.
at all.
It was like, you're not a the leader of a multi-billion-dollar franchise
so
usually
embarrassing.
knows how to like have the politically correct answer.
And I agree. If you're the leader, you have to say certain things. And yet, so when Kyler's saying that,
Oh, he's lying out.
That's
yes.
what I'm like.
Oh, right through the
I
teeth,
mean, but-
like a quarterback should, Mike.
yes.
I
Team
like
player.
I like the theatrical. Kyler Murray, team player.
I'm just saying he gave the team player answer. That's what I want to hear
I
from my
know.
quarterback. I don't want to look.
But I've watched him
JJ
on the field be not team player.
J.J. McCarthy answered the question
Like
in the exact same spirit of the meme we got in the locker room.
He was a petulant child.
Petulant. Anyways, all that to say,
Oh, I haven't watched.
Kyler will win the job. He's on his way to winning it already. He will win the job, and he will not go as the quarterback 21. You can believe whether, he's going to – I think he'll support Justin Jefferson and Addison and the offense very well. I don't know if Kyler will be a top 10 quarterback, but the hype and excitement will grow.
Yeah.
And he will be a late-round quarterback bet with high upside, rushing upside, and be one of the most popular, stylish picks you can make.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way when drafts come around, once we know he is officially the quarterback, that he's going to be the quarterback 21. He's basically
I agree.
undrafted right now. Most leagues aren't taking 21 quarterbacks unless you're in a super flex. He should be drafted. I know we've had debate already about how good is he for fantasy. I think he's going to be pretty good. He's a great core of wide receivers. They even added Juwan Jennings, which we don't usually talk about when we bring up Addison and Jefferson. So I think Kyler's a good – I mean, it doesn't cost you anything to take a bet on him. So he'll come up in the rankings. The guy that I think –
JJ will not, but go on.
yes, the guy that I think will rise
Just lie to me, quarterback.
in average draft position by the time the draft comes around is my man, Cam Scattaboo.
Okay.
Scattaboo, I think there's two things here, right? One is the fear of the injury.
Yeah.
The injury is real. This was brutal. Sometimes there are the on-field visible injuries that stick with you. This was one of them. People saw it. People noticed it. People wanted to look away. It was gruesome. And so I think there's a lot of fear of coming back from that kind of an injury. And the other is because it was, early in the season, it was like somewhere around week 8, mid-season. It was a long time. We forget what he did. And I want to remind people what Cam Scattaboo did. If you take out the injured game, which is fair, he didn't play the whole game, and you take out week 1 of his rookie season, he's like 10 or 12% of snaps, but it basically wasn't really involved yet. The rest of the time, he averaged 17.8 fantasy points per game and half PPR.
That's an outrageous number.
For context, that was more than James Cook last year.
Yeah, I
more
was
than
gonna say
Derrick Henry. It was just behind Achane.
That was a ridiculous number, and I already feel like this is such a great pick because I can already feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it in my bones.
Well, all of our UDK, like when we statted the guys out, and we did the research on the injury, we've got a whole injury report in the UDK, but when we statted him out, this was like we were all above where he's being drafted right now. Not aggressive. We don't have him as the running back 7. I do think
There's
he gets
still some
off.
things we need to learn.
Absolutely, there are yellow flags here. He very well could get off to a slower start. Obviously, the team won't have Malik Neighbors, not that they had him last year, but we expect him to be better later in the season than early. But his timeline on his injury,
Well,
he
and the
has
fact he feels no pain.
yeah, I mean, he is.
He
can't
did try
feel
to.
pain.
He tried to put his foot back in.
Right.
If
yeah.
you remember that part of the
It's like,
injury.
oh, let me just put it. Can I get some tape over here?
Some people
Some
have
Flex Seal.
the mental makeup to literally not feel it,
Yeah.
and he's
He
a
doesn't
dog.
feel anything. Oh, man.
All right. I'm going to call my shot here that people are going to figure something out because right now ADP doesn't make sense to me. I'm going with Quentin Johnston.
Huge.
Of the Los Angeles Chargers, where Lad McConkey is being drafted right now in about, the 4th round? Lad McConkey, who's a good player.
Great player.
And Quentin Johnston, meanwhile, is going in right around the 10th. I'm looking at Sleeper's ADP. Last year, Lad McConkey missed a single game, and he ended up with 789 yards. Quentin Johnston missed 3 games and ended up with 735 yards and more touchdowns than Lad.
Yeah.
He had more production than Lad McConkey.
People hate huge.
He is what do we got here, Kyle? We have only 5 wide receivers collected 8 or more receiving touchdowns in each of the last 2 seasons. Jamar, Amon-Ra, T. Higgins, Devonta Adams, and
Huge.
Huge. I get it. The rookie year was awful. It was disgusting. And we were done. We were
sticking with him,
because it wasn't just like, oh, he's not giving us production. He's giving us drops. It was an absolute clown show. He's gotten a lot better since then.
Well, and he's such a red zone weapon.
And he's a red zone weapon, and because of the additions at tight end that Los Angeles has made, they're going to be in 12 a lot. Mm-hmm. They will be in 2 wide receiver sets. We think Ladd will be one of them. I know that Johnston will be one of them. I know he's going to be on the field.
Huge will absolutely be on the outside in all 2 wide receiver sets.
Keenan Allen's not going to hurt Huge. He
Right.
can
Correct.
hurt. He can hurt Ladd McConkey.
Well, the worst news that just came out, I saw a quote.
I think I saw the same one.
Well,
Go on.
It was talking about how there were 3 wide receivers who have clearly separated themselves for this team. They look amazing. They're awesome. They've stepped up and they're coming to work. They're going to be the leaders. And it was Huge and Ladd, and it was Trey Harris, my boy Trey Harris.
Oh, right.
Never wrong, just early. And the thing is about that is, I mean, that's great news. I think those 3 will be the 3 in 3 wide receiver sets. But if you just look at going to 2 wide receiver sets where you don't have someone in the slot, you want the 2 wide receiver set to be, you want Ladd to be on the field. But he doesn't project the same way that like a Trey Harris archetype does. So if it ends up being Trey Harris and Huge, that's going to hurt Ladd. Huge is so – I disagree with you, Mike. I do not think he rises in ADP. Now, I think he should. I think he's a phenomenal late-round pick.
Oh, no, that's an interesting point. Like,
people hate him.
Yeah, I don't know what he would have to do in the preseason to garner excitement that moves him in ADP.
Yeah.
I think
here, I mean, maybe it'll be us.
I think that
when you make him a my guy.
I will not do that. I will stand up for Quentin Johnston. I will not. That's fine. You can call me Yella. I don't care. These colors run, brother. We run away from Quentin Johnston. So minimum 14 games played. Quentin Johnston, points per game, he's right here at wide receiver 19, tied with Tedero and McMillan. It's like whose
offense would you want more?
Right, the Chargers or the Chargers. You want Herbert and his upside, or do you want Bryce Young? I'm not saying I'm drafting Huge over Tedero and McMillan, but I'm saying
where are you taking your my guy?
Maybe round 8. But it's just where I think it changes is over the offseason, more and more stuff will start coming out of just about the way the offense is working. Of they're like, hey, there's a surprising amount of tight ends on the field, and you know who's always out there? Is Quentin Johnston. And the wide receiver, too, is sometimes it's Ladd, sometimes it's Trey Harris. I'm
glad you're bringing this up.
The one constant is the guy that no one wants to draft.
I'm glad you're bringing this up now. Because if we had the same diatribe in August, I think we move his ADP. Right now, the Sharps and the Foot Clan, they're listening. They're gonna do the right thing.
Just keep getting your values.
Yes, exactly. Keep them low.
Where he's going right now, it's a ridiculous spot around names that are, I mean, it's far more unlikely to be on the field and far more unlikely to produce.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's very interesting. All right, let's jump into some news.
News and notes from around the league.
Well, we haven't had the privilege and honor and amazing ability to talk about what we love talking about, which is legal issues with players, not football. All right, first comments. Josh Jacobs arrested on domestic abuse charges in Wisconsin. We are, these are always really, really difficult to talk about on the show because there is a true, human reaction to the incident of what occurred, and our timelines get flooded with fantasy football implications for news that we don't know the outcome of. I think right now we love leaning on, and I'll give a shout out to him, Drew Davenport FF on Twitter. Gives the best overviews of these legal situations with his legal background. We have had news break here and there. Some quotes that I want to share from Drew. He said, despite the seriousness of the allegations, I'm not automatically assuming the exempt list will be used for Jacobs or that he'll be suspended this year. He also said, however, the possibility of the exempt list is, at least in his estimation, 20 to 30% higher with this type of charge than it was for Rashee Rice's civil allegations of abuse. I will add, yesterday, Jacobs was released from jail and no charges have formally been filed yet.
Mm-hmm.
He also said, quote, I have seen cases like this end up in felony convictions or complete dismissals. The entire spectrum is still in play. More evidence needs to come to mind. My advice on Twitter, other than hashtag too soon for a lot of it, is literally that. It's just wait a second. You know, there's not really a lot to be gained by firing off a random guess in either direction here, in my opinion. Now, you can do what you want to do. You want to go pick up Marshawn Lloyd because he's going to be the number one guy? Shoot your shot. Everyone knows what's going on with Jacobs. If you want to take a trade offer for Jacobs because you think he's not going to be suspended, go ahead. But he could be. So,
Right.
you know, I don't know if you guys want to add anything to it, but that's the situation going on right now.
I think you laid it out pretty well. The range of outcomes is certainly a suspension this year to absolutely nothing.
I mean, he could be cut.
As
well.
He has no more guaranteed money.
The current – well, the thing is this is a Super Bowl contending team that does not have a depth chart behind him. Obviously, he could be cut financially should things really come out that it was very bad. But as of this moment, the fact that quote-unquote new evidence has been shared that's yet to come out, but it was shared from Josh Jacobs' side, and then he was released, and then Jacobs' attorneys released a statement on his release saying that they are very happy that this decision was made based on the new evidence, and they look forward to –
the decision of currently no charges.
Correct. And so that's not to guarantee he doesn't have charges brought, but it does to me lean me currently, if we have to pick a side, which I think the best advice is just too early, don't make any decisions, but if I have to currently lean aside, I don't think he misses any games this year.
Yeah,
I'm not willing to say anything in that regard yet.
Yeah, I have no idea. The allegations, like when they first came out, are bad. I mean, it was 2 felonies, 4 misdemeanor.
Yeah, these are very, very serious allegations.
So if something was done, there'll be big trouble. But, dude,
we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. And
don't know.
We're not privy to that evidence or not even close to it. So free agent running backs that are out there, Mixon, Najee Harris, Austin Eckler, Antonio Gibson, Nick Chubb.
No, it's
so
whoever.
No one.
It's all the Arizona Cardinals.
Trey Benson, James Conner, Tyler Algier could be traded.
Come get one.
I mean, they will need to reinforce that room. Marshawn Lloyd has never been able to stay on the field. They lost Emmanuel Wilson, which, look, if Jacobs ends up in this situation where he's off this team, that will be one of their greatest regrets.
Yes.
If you're in a dynasty league, you know, Chris Brooks might be sitting out there, and he could very well be the actual starter over Marshawn Lloyd if he's healthy. And then when Marshawn Lloyd breaks, he will be the starter.
That's the only fantasy advice I think that is actionable right now, is if you're in Dynasty and someone rage dropped Lloyd or Brooks happens to be out there. Those are the speculation ads.
Wide receiver Nico Collins agreed to terms on an adjusted contract that guarantees his salary in 2026 and 2027.
That's some money, Nico.
So much better news.
Yeah.
I like this news.
More money for Nico?
Yeah.
Just, positive. Players getting money, doing good things.
All right, how about this one? Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles said running back Bucky Irving is, quote, coming along fine and is, quote, expected back sometime in summer or fall?
Now, to be fair, you added the inflection of, have you not seen that quote yet?
I saw everything but the or fall part.
Yeah.
You know what they do in fall?
That's the big part.
You know what they do in fall, guys? They play the football.
Oh, man.
Or spring.
Good luck. Good luck making your decision on Bucky.
Well, he was just discussed on the Tuesday Wildcard episode if you want to go back and listen to that discussion. I'm not sure it's going to give you conviction one way or another, but the truth is the range of outcomes on Bucky is high risk, high reward. I mean, that is kind of what makes up fantasy. So if you have stability elsewhere and you want to take a shot on a guy that's being drafted as an RB2, that could be an RB1, whatever the case may be, there's upside. So I don't think we have any other news to talk about before we get into the mailbag, unless you guys have anything you want to add.
No, I'm good.
All right, we'll take a break and jump into some questions, see if we can help you out. All right, without further ado, it's time to jump into the mailbag.
Mailbag.
All right, if you have a question for the show, we're here to help. Go to the website, thefantasyfootballers.com. Click the Submit a Question button. Or you can dial our voicemail hotline, 302-464-TFFB. We're going to start off with a voicemail question.
Hey, ballers. In 10 Things to Remember, you said don't draft middle-round tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
Does that apply to Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren this season? Yes or no? Thanks. Have a good one.
I'll take this one, guys.
So the question, do you avoid middle-round tight ends? Because historically, as soon as the elite guys are gone, and you're like, and players are drafted, he's like, I want a player who I can just put into the tight end position. He's just going to start for me, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, looking at last year, even if you were to have drafted who finished as the tight end 2, which sounds, great, versus the tight end 12, which sounds bad, it was meaningless nonsense. It had it was like a couple points per game.
Except for the playoff run of Kyle Pitts.
Well, sure. I mean, on a per game, like individual pick your games out basis, that's just streaming the position. So my tip on my things to remember was after basically McBride and Bowers, I'm punting to the end. I'm not taking a shot away. It's not because I don't like the tight ends that are there, but to take a shot away from a 6th round, a 5th round, a 7th round, and an 8th round wide receiver or running back. I listed off all the guys we missed out on in those rounds last year taking these other tight ends. It's not worth it. It's not good strategy. And then something happened. Michael Pittman went away. DJ Moore went away. And all of a sudden it looked like those two guys, Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren, have the true chance to go into.
Mike and I were already there.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know what I mean?
That's fine. I mean, you guys saw the future. You saw that those players would be removed.
I didn't need them to be removed.
No,
But go on.
And I mean, with Pittman
That was
there,
the persuading factor for you.
for
was that
Tyler
there was
Warren,
a little
yes.
bit more target clarity.
For Tyler Warren, yes. I mean, DJ Moore had 85 targets, 50 receptions. That wasn't a huge clog. Michael Pittman was, the leader in targets. So Tyler Warren, to me, with that
cannot
move,
hear you repeat stats and numbers without hearing 55 burgers, 55 fries every single time you do it.
Man.
Okay, well, congrats, man. That's
I'm
awesome.
doing something.
I'm doing something.
So I absolutely include Loveland and Warren in the elite tier. I'm not drafting.
Yeah, you got to.
So that's the question, right?
Yeah.
So
How far do you go, buddy?
No. I am a huge believer in Harold Fannin Jr. I think his talent is awesome. I've tried to trade for him in dynasty leagues. I absolutely
Failed.
100% will not be drafting Fannin this year. He is not in that tier.
Ooh.
He doesn't have the quarterback play. He doesn't have the offense around him to really, truly be elite. He has the talent. I think if he were to swap with Tyler Warren, I would be saying the same thing about Tyler Warren as I
Kraft?
did about Fannin. Kraft to me as well.
So those four names are the line.
So to me, it's the four. This is just my personal strategy, and everyone's going to be different. But I am I'm Bowers, McBride, Warren, and Mr. Loveland, and then I'm drafting my tight end in the last. Whoever is left over when everyone else has their tight ends, I'll find someone.
The most recent news is Matt LaFleur saying Tucker Kraft could be ready by training camp.
So if the ACL truly looks 100% fine, like if he's there, full participant, beginning of training camp, which timeline says shouldn't be, if he is and he really beats that, then I might move him into it. But he would be the only one that I would be willing to draft.
Of the five.
Of the five. Like Sam Laporta, great tight end. Dalton Kincaid has big games. There's Kyle Pitts, the tight end too. I'm not wasting my time with any of them. They don't make a difference versus one another. You have to be truly elite at that position to matter. Otherwise, take more shots at the running backs and wide receivers.
Do you think it was worth drafting Tyler Warren last year?
Yeah, it was very unfortunate, the injury. He was basically in that elite tier. He was almost 11 fantasy points a game, which is, I mean, tight end 2 last year was like 9. But until the injury, and then he kind of went away. Phillip Rivers couldn't get it done.
In our mock draft that we did here a couple weeks ago, McBride and Bowers went early 3rd. Loveland went 4th. Fannin and Warren went in the 5th. It slipped a couple rounds. Kraft in the 7th. And then it was like Laporta and Pitts. And those were areas where, like, for instance, Tucker Kraft went after Ramondre, Monungai, before Dowdle and Dobbins. It looks like a running back run in that round. But, yeah, that'll be an interesting one. I mean, I think that it's always tantalizing if you have young talent late in the draft that has upside. I haven't seen, Stowers and Sadiq excitement the way we would have had Loveland and Warren, which is...
And Sadiq just had surgery. I guess that should have been in the news.
Hernia surgery.
Yeah. He should be fine for the start of the season, but that's not great for getting, off to a hot start.
All right. Yeah, last year Warren's ADP was the 8th round as the tight end.
I think part of the avoid tight ends in the middle rounds is if you already know who they are. You already know who they are as a fantasy player, where it's like Loveland and Warren, we don't completely know. They seem like they're on the path to being top-tier potential elite tight ends for fantasy. The other guys, it's like Pitts, and I'm interested in Laporta, but at the same time, I know the strategy of it's like Pitts, Laporta, and Kincaid are just who they are. They'll give you a couple spike weeks, but they're going to give you plenty of weeks of 3 to 4 points.
I think one of the difficulties of drafting those guys in the middle rounds is it's not just the trade with the other positions, because those guys, in those rounds, those guys can flop too. It is making sort of a commitment in your draft to a tight end that might not be a good weekly starter, but when you draft them there, that's your tight end. And you really feel locked in on that for a while. Tight ends are going to have fluctuating weeks. You're going to be, he had a bad week 1. Oh, I'm going to play him week 2. Oh, well, it's kind of a slow start. I know what I saw in him. It's going to come along. You don't stream the position. You don't make a change.
When you grab Hunter Henry at the very last pick of your draft, and it doesn't really make that big a difference versus him and Laporta on a per game basis, and then week 1, Stowers is crazy involved, or Chigakonkwo has 10 targets, you're fine just going to the waiver wire and moving on. But when you do draft Laporta in the whateverth round, you're like, I don't really need to drop it here. I've got my guy.
Instagram question coming in from FML. Bhayshul, Tuten, or Christian Watson in a half PPR league? Currently very similar in ADP, 5th and 6th round picks. We did talk about Bhayshul, Tuten in our wild card episode as well, but Christian Watson, one of the more exciting.
I love both these guys.
Upside cases. Yeah, you do. Let's hear your answer because
you heard it. Oh,
yeah, I feel like I'd go Watson because I'm higher on Watson than I am Tuten.
I am higher positionally on Christian Watson than Bhayshul Tuten. It's just look, they're both wild cards of you can't be certain that they're going to hit. It's projecting. But if Tuten hits, he's so much more valuable. I guess, for you guys, because I'll throw to you, Jay. I don't know if you're as in on Watson as I am, but it's like Tuten and Watson. Who do you think hits is more likely to hit? The more
likely to hit is Christian Watson. I think Christian Watson is likely to hit. But I agree with you. If these guys both do what the hopes are, the value, it's way more valuable to have Tuten. If Tuten hits, he's going to make a bigger difference in fantasy than Christian Watson. Christian Watson isn't going to be someone where he's getting 100 receptions. Like, that's just not his game. He's going to be downfield. He's going to have, a lot of touchdowns and be way better than where he's going right now in a draft. But he's not going to be just an every week dominator. Whereas on the Jags offense, if he takes over this Travis Etienne Jr. role and gets the pass catching, which he did in college, even though he didn't last year, then yeah, I think Tuten has a higher ceiling, less likely to get there than Watson is to get to his ceiling, which is lower.
Last year, Christian Watson, in his 10 games played, would have projected to 60 catches for 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. I mean, if you want to extrapolate the loss of Josh Jacobs outward,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many times we've said the identity of this team is Josh Jacobs. If they have to throw the football, which I think they're willing to do if that's they've done it before. I mean, Jordan Love was a top 5 quarterback, right? I mean, wasn't he 5?
Jordan Love did it. He gave us one great season, and even though
Jordan Love, Jacobs,
even though Jordan Love is not giving us tremendous fantasy success over the last couple of years, him as a player, like his advanced metrics say,
Capable.
if they throw more, Jordan Love will be great for fantasy, and so will his weapons.
Yeah, that's something else to watch out for. Another voicemail question.
Hey, Ballers, it's Matt from LA. And since we're deep into the offseason, I wanted to ask for each of you guys, when was one player that you had high hopes for, but they just kind of fell through the next season? Could go as far back to when the pod started. Love the show.
Who is a player who we had high hopes for that let us down? I mean,
Carry on Johnson. I mean, that's like
so many.
that's my cross to bear.
Believe it
Because
or not,
I did it 2 years in a row. When you double down and you lose
yeah,
more.
when you said never wrong, just early, that name came to mind.
Man, that was never wrong, just injury. I believe that to my core.
I am on Jason's side. I think Kerryon Johnson would have been great, but his body broke down.
I mean, we've got. I mean, Cuge was a name on my list. I mean, Cuge was my guy for me 1 year. Believe it or not.
I do
not remember
what?
that.
Yep, Quentin Johnston was my guy. Oh no, that was Mike Williams.
Yeah, okay,
my
all
bad.
right.
Same archetype, same team.
You're my
I
guys.
picture them the exact same.
I mean, it makes sense.
Mike
Big-bodied
Williams is one. All
outside
right, Mike
wide receiver
Williams
for the Chargers.
We've been doing this a long time. The players just morph into the next one at the same size. But no, Mike Williams was one that I had as a my guy. We've had several my guys over the year that were actually the year before. I had Cooper Kupp the year before he was the #1 overall wide receiver in the entire league.
Several times. We talked about this on the Footcast yesterday. We have a weird track record of being 1 year early on our my guys
For several names.
a lot of them. A lot of them.
Oh gosh, I've got the whole Kyle in under 60
it's-
seconds grabbed the entire my guys archive of all time.
But who do you think to answer the question? Who do you is there a player
that
that
stands
you really
out.
believed in that let you like you were wrong?
Oh, dude, Royce Freeman. Royce Freeman, drafted by the Denver Broncos.
He had the tier, right?
In
the giant.
Huh?
Was he the one with the giant?
No, that's no Sean.
No,
Oh,
Sean
okay.
Moreno. We're
No.
getting all the names mixed up.
No, Royce Freeman
The giant tier.
was a third-round pick to the Denver Broncos, who had a completely open depth chart at the running back position. Royce's production profile was redonkulous. Everything totally made sense. The only thing I didn't see coming was an undrafted free agent, Philip Lindsay, beating him out for the job.
I had Jahan Dotson after the rookie season. That was a huge letdown. I thought what I saw in film was great.
I think that was a big letdown for everybody.
Yeah, that one hurt. Do you guys have any other names that come to mind? Trey Lance, Mike?
Yeah. Well,
Trey Boo Boo.
Blake Jarwin?
Blake Jarwin to injury. Trey Lance is that.
Who was the?
That's all on.
There was a
Shanahan.
Charger. I think this was San Diego Chargers running back who we love.
Ryan
Matthews.
Ryan Matthews
Dude,
was.
He was going to be so
Ryan
good.
Matthews is just the what could have been. Every year was what could have been with Ryan Matthews. That dude was electric, and his body was made of paper mache.
not
You
made for the
had
NFL.
1 year, Mike, where you had Ryan Matthews. At that time, he was an Eagle. And you had Dante Moncrief slapping the bass for Indianapolis.
Oh, slap it
And I
up
feel like
base.
Moncrief let us down, too. Jason, I got one more name for you. I got one more.
Let me have it. Just punch me right in the gut.
Kobe Fleener.
Oh, dude, you telling me this? Of course, Kobe Fleener, Peyton Manning's tight end.
That was
Saints.
Saints.
When he went to the Saints.
Yeah, you projected him forward.
Drew
into
Brees is tight end.
There you go.
Yes, he was the post Jimmy Graham.
Yeah,
Yeah, there've been some names over the years for
fun
sure.
stuff.
All right, YouTube question from AZ. After QB8, who has the most upside? Is it matchup dependent? So looking at the later quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence is at 10. For me, that's the name.
He was almost the name to bring up on who's going to be drafted higher than where they're currently going. He was so good last year. The second half of last year, he was just dominant for fantasy. I think that's a great name to bring up.
Yeah, we have also in the UDK, one of the things that's a feature, we have a risk rating, but we also have an upside meter for players that we see. If you're differentiating because you want to add somebody with more fluctuation on your team, with more upside, we do throw that in there as well. Obviously, Mahomes is going to be that name because Mahomes always has upside.
He does. The name to me is Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams has every opportunity to, I mean, he runs the ball. He has a great offense. We love, we're debating all these different offensive pieces, and they all go to Caleb Williams. I think we as an entity, like the whole universe, does not.
We as a universe.
Let
me speak on behalf of the universe.
Do not really believe Caleb Williams is going to be, ever develop into like one of the best of the. You're going to be talking about Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes and Caleb Williams, because his accuracy, his consistency has just never been there.
He has to Josh Allen.
Right, exactly. He's got to turn over a new page where it's like, I am now an every play consistent machine. But should he do that? Everything is set up for him. He has the skill set. He's got the body size. He's got the weapons. He's got the offensive line. I mean,
the fourth down conversions.
Should he take
that
step? I mean, you're talking about a guy that next year we could be, who has the option to be, a top 3 quarterback next year? He should.
If last year, which was his sophomore season, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that had been his rookie year, can you comprehend?
Oh man,
what we'd be anticipating for this season? Because those numbers, big plays, the playoff run. If you said any of that stuff as you didn't have the burnout of the first year, I think he'd be one of the biggest name.
It would go Josh Allen, Lamar, and then Caleb would be the 3rd quarterback being drafted off the board. People just excited to.
I think you're right
to have the future number 1.
Yeah, he made Mahomes-like plays frequently last year. It just was intermixed with, what are you doing? So, yeah, and we love Loveland. We love Burden. I think we like Odunze. I think we like Ben Johnson. We like Swift. And, I mean, there's so much opportunity. Completely agree. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll jump into some more questions. All righty, Kyle Hamlin writing in. Isn't that a race car driver?
Kyle Hamlin, I think so. I don't do the
you
race
tell,
car driver
NASCAR
thing.
Maybe or something. I'm looking for some help over here. Any NASCAR
is it Hamilton?
Hamilton?
No, it is.
Denny Hamlin.
Denny Hamlin.
I see a Kyle Hamlin on IMDb, known for a House of Dynamite.
Oh, that's probably what you were thinking.
Perfect First Date.
Well, here's what might throw
Diarrhea from Detroit.
Here's throws some doubt. His handle is at Thundering Turd, so it's probably not any of those guys. Yeah. It's the Thundering Turd version of that name. Why is everyone forgetting about Jalen McMillan? I can see him as the 2 in this offense. He will get opportunity as the 2 in this offense, 100%. Kyle Hamlin. It's already been. They've already talked about this. Like Ted Hurst, he is a big-bodied wide receiver. Jason loves him, rookie coming in, but it will be Jalen McMillan getting opportunity on the outside alongside Ted Hurst as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a good name to bring up. You forget the end of his rookie season. He was the guy that caught fire. He was the reason to be maybe scared off of Emeka Egbuka coming in as a rookie, because you're like, if that was this an Amon-Ra St. Brown situation? The end of McMillan's rookie season, he had 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown, 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown in his final 5 games. It was like, you couldn't keep him out of the end zone. And so you were wondering if he was a future star. Absolutely a worthy. I mean, if you're going real deep, if you're in a best ball league where you're going 20 rounds, take some shots on McMillan. I don't have a problem with that. I do personally like Ted Hurst enough to say I think he's better than McMillan. They spent good draft capital on him. So those 2 guys will compete.
He had a serious injury that kept him off the field until week 15 last year, but he did have a top 10 wide receiver finish. In the midst of us waiting for Egbuka to do something, he went 7 for 114. He caught 80% of his passes in the 4 games he played, whereas Egbuka was under 50%. It's a good name to flag. I think the question mark is just, is he kind of a bit player?
Yeah.
I
really have very little interest.
The outside's going to be a mix of McMillan, Hurst, and maybe even Tez getting some work out there.
Egbuka is secure in his spot on the field. Chris Godwin is very secure in his spot on the field. So maybe McMillan ends up winning that outside job, but he has to fight off other players and then he has to fight off Ibuka and Chris Godwin for targets.
Which that's what I was going to say. Somebody other than those two guys with Cade Otton in the mix too. It's hard to imagine him supporting a third to fourth option consistently, no matter who it is. Even if you gave Hurst every snap, should the other players miss time, then he'll be interesting. And the league, Kenny Gainwell with his team-leading receiving numbers.
It's always good to take stock and have a kind of a mental checklist of players that, if a role appears, can succeed, because not everyone can. Like we'll have injuries throughout the season, and we'll be like, this wide receiver 3 is now in a new role. He's probably the top pickup of the week. It's like, we know that Jalen McMillan, should that show up, he can show up. So I would agree with that he's a talented player, but he has to overcome so much to be any sort of relevance.
If week 1 he plays basically 100% of the outside snaps, would you, and maybe he doesn't do electric things with them, are you then picking him up off the waiver wire?
Maybe. I'm very distracted as a
oh gosh,
quote from Bears coach Ben Johnson just came in. Jason.
Let's have it.
Quote, "I'm buying Luther Burden stock right now." How's that feel?
Feels fine. I would hope he does. I hope he buys stock in all of his guys.
He also just said, "I'm shorting Roma Dunze."
Oh, well, then that would change things.
Yeah, he didn't say that.
Yeah. I don't believe you.
Mike had
the Luther Burden part is true.
There was a lot of vitriol in Mike's "how does that feel?"
Yeah.
For the head coach just liking one of his players he drafted.
I love this thing.
Yeah, he didn't draft Rome.
I love this thing that has come up so naturally between Mike
They're just
and
so
I.
different.
Where
I know one's really good.
where I am all in on Rome, he is all in on Luther Burden, and we're just going to, through the season.
Oh, it's going to be great.
It's just going to be great. Every time
Every
either
play.
one does something good, it's just going to be death stare to the. You see that?
Does that mean I get Loveland if we want to complete it? Can I have Loveland?
Nah, we're all.
You can say that,
You can
but he's
share
on
him.
my dynasty team, so.
Alex writes in this question.
The only one that can't have Loveland, and this is important, is Kyle. Kyle.
Oh,
hated
man. He still
hated
talks
it.
talking about.
Kyle never breaks in. He won't stand for that. Oh man!
What are your top 5 reasons for hating him, Kyle?
Yeah, but you got the mic.
I have him in Dynasty, and I love Tyler Warren.
Hey,
that is why.
Stop clock, right?
Auto pick.
yeah. My 8-hour timer ran out.
I ended up with Loveland.
I hated it.
Tried to shop him.
Kyle has never broken into this show.
Never.
Unannounced, without permission, and he immediately was on the microphone.
Not gonna stand for
He's
that.
in another state,
Oh,
and
man.
he won't stand for that. All right, this is sort of a follow-up to an earlier discussion. Alex writes in, dynasty trade question, Lad McConkey or the 2026 6th pick in the rookie draft? 106.
Oh, Lad McConkey, easy for me.
I mean, you do. I mean, 106 is either going to be Mekhi Lemon, Jadarian Price, Casey Concepcion.
I don't think Lemon would get there, but
I mean, he absolutely could get there.
He could. I bet he's.
You're saying because he's 4?
yeah,
I bet he's top 5 at least now.
yeah. At the 6th pick, I don't think.
Yeah, you're probably looking at your
Price
get
and
Concepcion.
Concepcion.
Yeah, Price and
or
Concepcion.
you're like, you love Mendoza.
Or Stowers or Sadiq or
Yeah, that's who you're taking.
I think
I
that
know without for a fact that Lad McConkey is a great wide receiver that can get it done in the NFL.
I think I'd stick with Lad.
The hard part is going to be, do you see, like, just where does the team go for an identity over the next 5 years? Because do you think that, this becomes a Lad takeover situation? I think that's the bet that some people would want to make about some of the other receivers with opportunity.
Yeah, I think that the identity of the team will truly be Herbert. I think this is going to be a team that over the next couple of years will be a Super Bowl contender. And like all Super Bowl contenders, it's Lamar's team. It's not Derrick Henry's team, even though Derrick Henry is, the muscle that's making them move right now.
I feel like saying that though is, it's the Thor Star-Lord meme.
Yeah, you're the guy.
Where Star-Lord
you're the guy.
is Lamar and Thor is Derrick Henry. He's like, no, certainly
Okay.
you are in charge.
Better example, the Bengals. Whose team is that?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, because obviously Jamar Chase is maybe the best wide receiver in football, but you
Right.
don't.
No, that's Burrow's team.
That's
I mean,
Burrow's team.
I don't even know what that stuff means.
Well, you asked.
I know, but I just
I was
mean,
answering
like,
your question.
but the answer wasn't what I wanted.
Okay.
The answer was whether or not you
I
look at
wanted
this.
a yes or no, Jason.
No. It's fine. It's fine. It didn't answer it for me internally. Of like, my question was whether you could start to identify McConkey as a Chase or a Neighbors or in that category of dominance where some people might take a shot on somebody else. Like McConkey's going into year 3. He had a bad sophomore season.
I mean, the
You
issue
have
with
to
that,
reverse it, right? You have to take over.
The issue with that is it's like, is Casey Concepcion going to take over whatever the Browns are? Is Omar Cooper going to take over for the
in
Jets?
this specific draft, you're
this
you're probably
that
on
spot,
the McConkey side. I'm not disagreeing with that. But if it was Lemon, like if you change this pick
Yeah, that's a good
to
question.
104, I don't know what I do.
Because I really do like Lemon.
Why didn't he have a neck in that picture?
I don't know what you're talking about.
but
I love the question.
It's
You love the question.
So someone give me this picture.
He took his like
You had my interest.
he took a promo picture.
Yeah, it's
with this dude's just funny to begin
is
with.
a unique cat.
Well,
Someone find that picture.
The answer to your question is, do snakes have necks? Okay, because
do snakes have necks,
Right.
or do they have bodies?
right. Because
Or is
I
it
wouldn't say a
just-
snake has a neck.
Is it
Or are they all
neck?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a question. Are snakes all neck?
Makai Lemon, there is no doubt he is a snake.
Yes,
This
he
dude
has serpentine qualities.
Yes. You can't talk to him without him snaking his head. Oh, I see the picture now.
I don't think that might not have been the exact picture, but it looks like he had one of them neck removals from the Tim because we're gonna go back to Tim Robinson on every 15 seconds. Well, let's end it here with a lineup question in the same vein, same team. Do you believe Devonta Smith can operate as a wide receiver 1? I say yes.
Yes.
Or will Lemon's presence eat away at his potential given the A.J. Brown? This person said, given the A.J. Brown trade next week, which, by the way,
Because that should have been in the news.
I mean,
Oh man,
the public
I just don't want to talk about
the
it
public
anymore.
stuff on A.J. Brown is just like, okay, the Patriots are not going to give up a 1 and the Eagles are not going to settle for less than a 1. And this is right now there's a large gap and that could change in 5 seconds. But on Tuesday, I brought it up. Like my percentage was not as high
Stay strong, Patriots.
because I just think sometimes stuff like this sometimes it's real and sometimes it's posturing for some change of like the Nico contract, right? Where he got the 2 years of extra guaranteed money. I would not be shocked if tomorrow you find out A.J. Brown gets money moved into the guarantee pile and you don't hear about it. Now, he is also a guy that really, really wants the ball on every play.
He wants stats.
But right now, it does not seem imminent, right? It's May 28th. Let me tell you this. We recorded 100-player profile videos. Devonta Smith and A.J. Browns are sitting there in a coming soon, let the dust settle status because
they're going to completely change. What happens with A.J. Brown changes everything for all Eagles, for A.J. Brown himself, for other quarterbacks.
But Devonta Smith can 100% be a 1.
100%. He is a great NFL wide receiver. He'll take over, and we have enough evidence of this. When A.J. Brown or Dallas Goedert have missed time, the fantasy success you have. I mean, Devonta Smith has literally already been a top 10 fantasy wide receiver, so we know he can. And the question specifically of Makai Lemon, who I just said I love, will he
It's the
eat
neck
in?
thing.
Will he eat in enough? I don't think that rookie Makai Lemon eats in enough. You've got
Snakes eat things whole.
Yeah, they do.
That's true. They do eat things whole. But I think he's a baby snake right now.
Guys, we have
We have a snake.
have a-
man.
yeah.
I mean, we've got old drop.
we
I
gotta
don't know
update
where
the
it is.
graphics.
Oh, no.
I got a snake, man.
Oh, Spencer Rattler, see you later.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
I Lemon?
That was the last time we'll see Rattler.
Let's get this.
This will be the third person to take over
Yes.
this drop.
Blake Bortles, Spencer Rattler. Welcome to the party,
this is
Makai
a
Lemon.
Hall of Fame drop now.
Yeah.
I got a snake, man.
Oh, it feels
Also,
good to be back.
Who amongst us doesn't want to find out if Romeo Doubs can be a 1? I mean, come on. Come on. What, you don't want to find out?
I don't.
Oh, no.
What a great way to end the show on the crickets. We have a Explain Yourself episode defending our individual rankings coming up next Tuesday. Another mock draft coming up on the horizon.
Mike, you're going to love who I'm splaining.
Okay. Is it Burden?
No.
The UDK.
It's the better one.
Oh.
The UDK comes out on June 1st, which is Monday. So make sure you head over to ultimatedraftkit.com to check that out. Man, something was popping into my head. Oh, I have you seen this? Like, I've noticed if we do mock drafts, right? With sometimes they're like 10 teams, sometimes they're 12 team. There's been a very direct association between the amount of teams included in a mock draft and how manly you are. If you go to Twitter, they say man up and do a 14 team.
Oh.
Be a man, do a 16 team mock draft.
Oh.
18, 20.
No.
More manly, more teams. That's all I'm saying.
I was unaware.
I didn't know that was.
I am low T, so this makes sense. Give me a 10-teamer.
I was going to say, you go to the doctor and they're like, I just looked at your blood work. You're in a 4-team league, aren't you? You're 4-team.
Yeah, you keep this up. It's 16 mocks from here on out.
Yeah. You
Question my testosterone.
Maybe they're corollary. Maybe if we do a 14-team mock, all of our testosterone would rise.
That's how we become men?
I don't know. I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to hit this button. Thank you for joining us, the Fantasy Footballers. Check us out on X at the FF Ballers. We'll be back. Another episode. Enjoy the UDK on Monday.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter at the FF Ballers.